Hey everybody, I'm Captain Tommy Scoville. And that must mean that you are on the lifeboat. Hey Stephen, good to see you, man. Yes, Mama does not dance and Daddy does not rock and roll. There's a light in your eye, and then a guy says, I'm gonna go our long hair. Louis, you coming with me? No more Maurice. If you were not here early on, then you may have missed that. Just finished AA Ron chat with Mike. I saw that. I caught some of that. Just finished Aaron's chat with Mike Brown, and all I can say is good job. Job. I don't have a helicopter and access to ordnance. Yeah, if you have spent any time whatsoever paying attention to how this freaking cult treats the elderly and the young, for that matter, you're gonna start finding yourself gritting your teeth probably a little bit more than is healthy, if that makes sense. It really does make you want to grit the ever-loving crap out of your teeth, and it makes you want to, I don't know. It's pretty easy at this point to bow out. I can absolutely walk away from this because there's not much dog in the fight, right? I mean, I was brought in as as someone to tell you what the inside of a prison is like. I was not brought in because of my affiliation with the church or anything of the nature. But I'll tell you something, man. It's easy to hate that place, isn't it? I mean, it really is. It's easy to hate that place, and no lie at all. It's not paranoid stuff because I'm starting to film it, and when you start filming it, you can definitely tell that it's real. But there's they start sending a few cars to take a look at what you're doing and follow you around, and it kind of becomes obvious, especially with where I live. It's really hard. Hello, Liz Ferris, awesome to see you. So where I live, it's really obvious. If you accidentally make your way up my driveway, there's no out, right? It's like a box canyon. So you get to the top, and now it's like, oh damn, now what? Well, a vehicle did that the other day, and then I filmed that vehicle the following day following me. I used to be a bit of a criminal, so I tend to be looking in the rearview mirror anyway. Like that's just always been kind of a habit of me. The tattoo warriors in the house. Good to see you. So my point is, I don't like them. I really don't like them. I don't like the church. I don't like the OSA scumbags that terrorize people. I don't like any of it. And I feel like that for a really long time, the entire world let this go on and didn't do anything about it. Nothing. And there's a really famous quote about not speaking up when they came for the unionists, because I wasn't a unionist, right? And not speaking up for the conservatives because I wasn't a conservative, and not speaking up for by the time it was all said and done, there's nobody left to speak up for you, right? This is one of those situations where it really comes down to good versus evil, and it really comes down to what's right on this planet. And unfortunately, if you find yourself square in it, you're going to end up looking at it going, you know what? No, screw it. If that's how they want to do it, you know what? I'm not the intimidation type. I'm really not. I'm sorry. But I do intend to fling crap at them as I see fit. I intend to keep taking shots at them. I do. I feel like I am very much I'm not a fighter. I'm not a player in this. I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm not in this the way other people are. I talk to people often that that grew up in this and lived in a world that you can't wrap your brain around. I really look forward to doing some shows with some people so that you get an idea, because I'm telling you, I've had some one-on-one conversations with some people that I promise you've never seen brought out correctly. No offense to AA Ron, no offense to anyone else, but I've never seen the story, because when you realize the generation and how they grew up, it's really, really, it's crazy. Hey, Nick, love you, brother. Always opera, looking good, man. Looking good. Talk about a cat that changed his life, man. Holy mackerel. If the lifeboat had like the picture of the perfect crew member, as far as transformation goes, I think it would have to be I Am the Noise opera, and it would also have to be Alan Ballantyne as well. I think those two would probably be the face of the boat. They've been nothing but fantastic. It really has been. So here's what I'm here to talk about. So here's the deal, right? Everybody laughs every time I say that because cops say it all the time, don't they? All right, here's the deal. Yeah, right. You end up with your head on a swivel. Jason, 1970 says, "You and me both, Cap. Been years, but my head is still on a swivel. I can't help it." Yeah, and I bet when you go into restaurants, you get wicked uncomfortable if they try to sit you in the middle of the restaurant, right? Like the convicts that you knew in prison that the guys that were pretty serious. If you were on a pretty serious yard, you're going to sit down, look up at a TV screen, put in a pair of headphones, and turn up the noise as loud as you can. Ain't no way in hell, man. There's no way in hell, right? Somebody comes up behind you, and that happens. I've seen it happen. I know anybody that's done time has seen it happen. I was not much for watching TV. If I could get my back against the wall, if I could watch it from inside my cell, but I like being in the day room and having people milling about behind me and things like that. My head definitely stays on a swivel. But I'm angry as hell about this organization, and the story's over. I'm going to continue to throw crap at them. How's that? I get along really well with Aaron, and I'm making friends with a lot of other people in the community. So I probably will still be a thorn in their side for as long as possible, man. Lady Fiona Crispin, so good to see you on the deck, Lady Crispin. She's been helped build this boat for real. From the 13th of August 2021, she came on board and went absolutely mad with effort. The amount of time and effort that she spent to keep the lifeboat afloat when we were a very, very, very small channel. We're still a small channel, but we were a super small channel, and just put a lot of effort in. And we appreciate you, Lady Fi. We really do. So yeah. That said, I'm not going to back off crapping on that institution. I'm not. I'm going to still continue to go on every SBTV channel that asks me to. If I can do anything to help them get views, I'm going to. The only thing that for tyranny to succeed, right? The only thing that needs to happen is for good men and women to stay silent. Right? That's all it takes. Is for people like us to shut up. And if we do, then what happens is like an entire generation of people get thrown away. When you meet people whose parents, try wrapping your brain around this if you didn't grow up in that, whose parents at like 14, 15 years old just said, you know what? You're not mine anymore. I don't care. Take care of yourself. You're on your own. Got nothing to do with me, right? You're your own little entity. So you go take care of this. This is the norm. You know what I mean? This is not something that happens so infrequently that it's, that it blows your mind. When you start meeting people, it happened to all of them. It happened to so many of them, and it leaves you with this just rotten taste in your mouth. It really does. You know why it happened? Because everybody did nothing. Everybody thought, wow, those people are a little weird. You know what I mean? But I'm not going to get involved. Or they thought those people are really weird and they're creeping me out. But you know what? They threaten people, and they, they're kind of dangerous. You don't want to say the word Scientology on a show or on an article because it's going to bring you all kinds of heat, and they're going to trash you. And you just know that that's part of it. And they've gotten away with that crap for a really long time. And what they do is they try to bring up stuff from people's past. You know what? My past is out there already, right? It's a little late for that. I'm a convicted bank robber, right? Gun runner. My stuff's out there, man. The world knows who I am. I do videos on it every single freaking day. So yeah, I'm all about, look at that. Hey, Franklin, good to see you, man. God bless you. Glad to see you here, man. In a big way. They got a family reunion here on the Lifeblood today. Franklin, MC, and Lady Fiona Crispin. We see them both at the same time. Must be a good time of day for me to be going live, huh? That's awesome. So this is the other thing. The fastest growing, if you look at YouTube, and if you look at podcasts, and you look at there's no TV anymore, right? There really is no TV anymore. We live in a streaming society. It's a completely different thing. This morning, I did a podcast podcast with Matt Cox, and Matt's written a couple of books. He's also you've seen him on television commercials for Title Lock. He talks about how quickly he can steal your house by just filling out a couple of pieces of paper. It's really easy to steal everything you've ever worked for. And he is the face of the commercial. And it says below, former, convicted swindler, basically. That's what he did. And he has a channel. Charlie Murphy, good to see you. V, good to see you. Virginia, nice to see you. So he has a podcast, and he had me on this morning, and it was fun. He started out and he said, "Hey, look, man, we're just going to talk. And if it would be really nice if we could get an hour. If it goes any longer than that, we're loving it. But we'd like to get at least an hour out of it. And as you know, people, if you let me talk, I could probably pull an hour. So we ended up talking for about 2 hours and 40 minutes or something like that. And at the end of it, he said when he was leaving the halfway house, I'm not going to spoil this because he's going to edit this and it's going to be going up next week on his channel. So I don't want to give away too much of it. No, spoiler alerts. But he said as he was leaving prison, he thought to himself, what now? And we all go through this, and you think, well, I'm not going to break the law, so I got to go out and I got to get a job, and I got to kind of go do, this or that. And what it really comes down to is that you end up being paid for talking about crimes that you committed in your past, and it is really becoming quite popular. It is a very, very fast-growing segment of our little podcast universe, right? True crime is on fire. Now, I don't want to be a true crime channel. If I'd wanted to be a true crime channel, I would have made The Lifeboat a true crime channel. That said, I'm a halfway articulate cat who knows a great deal about prison and a pretty decent amount about crime, right? So if I give 5 a.m. and 5 p.m. to the boat, exactly the way it has always been, I don't even want to hear an email. I don't want to hear from anybody, because my job is to get as many people here as I can who need to hear about sobriety. So I am going to be doing other things. I announced last night that I'm going to be doing a show with a psychologist. Yeah, not a psychiatrist, a psychologist who has a couple of degrees. Very, very interesting person, far more intelligent than me, and knows the more clinical end side of things. I'm also going to be doing Night Yard with Russ. Our first one is actually going to be tonight. After the boat, we're going to be doing Night Yard. We're going to be talking about some things from prison. Here's the deal. I'm going to give you the 5 and the 5. They're gonna stay the same. So for all of the people that are going to do SPTV, Mike H, SPTV is Suppressive Person Television. The Church of Scientology will declare someone suppressive. They're the really bad people, right? They're the people that have done something to offend the church, and they really are very fond of doing it within families, right? Like they'll make one brother a suppressive person, and then everybody in the family disowns him. Pretty tough, ugly stuff. So the group that is fighting very hard to hurt them all kind of film under an umbrella that they call SPTV, and the ringleader of SPTV, I think most people would agree, would be the Aaron growing up in Scientology. But there's a lot of fantastic channels out there that touch on this stuff, and it's pretty interesting stuff. Sorry, people, I'm just catching up. I'm a little bit behind. Boy, a lot of people I don't know. all kinds of people that I just don't know. So the yeah, Leah Remini's probably the absolute ringleader, to be sure. But Leah does a little bit less on YouTube than Aaron does. Aaron, growing up in Scientology, puts up several videos a day, and of course we built a relationship during the Masterson case and became friends. He's a really good guy, and we enjoy each other's company. So we will continue to probably do some stuff together. Here's the deal. You're right. Boy, oh boy. This is why I love the tattooed warrior. Here's the deal. You owe us nothing. Thank you. That's so kind. Just as you are blessed that we are here, I know that we want this both to be consistent. But sometimes in life, yeah, you know what? And that's it. I do want consistency. But you're right. I don't know. I really don't. But I'm gonna keep the lifeboat 5 and 5 is going to be for exactly what it has always been. And there will always be sobriety is always going to be, the thing that drives every single thing about this. If I'm talking about prison, I'm doing it because it's in relation to sobriety. This channel is a sobriety channel. It's not an anti-drug channel. It is just a living your best life channel. And there are a lot of people on this planet who are pretty unhappy in their own skin. And we would like to do everything that we could to bring people together so that they can all start talking to one another, because we believe that connection is it cures every single problem that we have, right? If you're racist, it's probably ignorance. You've had no connection with people of the race that you dislike, right? It's always when you connect with people and you connect, it destroys all arguments, all stupidity, all of those things. You see, I'm of the firm belief, people, that the news has taken our country and our world, and they've decided to divide us into two camps. So they paint the most cartoon-like extreme version of the left, and then a cartoon extreme version of the right? And that's what they put up because they're not telling the news. They're trying to sell you Mercedes Benzes and toilet paper, right? They want to sell you the newest drug that's going to help with your erectile dysfunction. They don't give a crap about the news. So they're going to tell you what you want to hear. And you choose what you want to hear depending on whether or not you lean left or you lean right. But the truth of the matter is, we're not seeing the vast majority of the world that lands somewhere in the middle, right? And they've gotten so good at making it that if I say I'm right, then instantly half of the audience would hate me. If I said I'm left, instantly half of the audience would hate me. I did a very funny radio show with a guy once, and at the end of it, he said, I really enjoyed talking to you. He said it blew me away because I just I tend to really dislike Democrats, and you just were really a pretty cool guy through the whole thing, and I just wanted to say that. And I was like, well, what made you think I was a Democrat? And he's like, well, every one of your views, like, he said, I looked at your channel and I get hate mail from both sides who accuse me of being either right or left. Right. But the truth is I'm probably somewhere close to the middle, but what it comes down to for me is, dope. Right. I am a one freaking issue, human being. There's one issue. It's called fentanyl, right? That's it. That's my issue. Fentanyl. They mix it in cocaine. They mix it in methamphetamine, right? They're putting it into every single pill you possibly can imagine. And they're shipping it across the border. And every batch that comes is stronger than the previous one. So that when 350 people overdose every single month on this crap, a businessman would say, let's take it down a notch. That way we make more money, because dead people can't continue to buy product. That's not what's happening. They're continuing to up it and make it stronger and stronger and stronger, right? And then, as if that's not bad enough, then they add in xylazine. Now, why would you do that, right? Not enough punch in a drug like fentanyl, which, depending on who you believe, is 50 to 100 times stronger than heroin. I got news for you, people. I've done fentanyl. It's got plenty of punch. You don't need to add anything to fentanyl, but they do. And when they add xylazine, Narcan now isn't going to get the job done. Now, when the person overdoses, the Narcan might knock the, all of the opiates that have bound to the MU receptors, but it's not going to do anything for what's going on with the xylazine. And I have talked to some people who, by their own description, are needle users. In fact, what the guy said is, I've been a junkie for the last 40 years. But he said that he started shooting this trank stuff. And he said he knows now that he's addicted to the xylazine. He said that when you start coming down from xylazine, he said it's like the ultimate benzo kick, right? This stuff's going to kill you. It's going to kill you if you don't have it. Now, they've made it dirt cheap, right? Some of these pills are $1 or $2, but they're destroying our country and our world with this drug. So I got news for you. There are people who are going to hate me because when this election rolls around, I'm going to scream yay for the person who has the best plan for keeping this crap from coming in here. And you know what? I don't care what side of the aisle he's on. And I really mean that. I don't care. I just want to see somebody stop this stuff from coming in. I went to the border with Alan Ballantyne when he was here, and it was we drove down for no other reason, honestly, than to give my best friend, who's an Aussie, an idea of how the border crossing was. And I'm telling you, people, like, it's changed. I used to go into Mexico, get dope, and bring it into America. I used to do it all of the time, right? I did this often. I could have walked in and out of there with, anything. There was not a point at any point where they even choked us down to ask us any questions. How long have you been in Mexico? What did you come in for? Like, you all know what it's like if you've gone to another country. There is a process. No one ever talked to me. Straight through, right? And with one passport from Australia and my passport, which I assure you people lights up any computer that you put it through, right? If one of your crimes is bank robbery, you end up on the no-fly list because they consider bank robbery a terroristic act. So my passport usually causes a bit of a commotion. I get at least the secondary pat down or whatever, But we walked straight in and out of that place like there was not a border crossing there. It was like going into a Walmart. It's pretty frightening stuff. It really is. So I am a one issue guy, and if that bums everybody out, this is what I do. I don't come on every day and say to you, here's the list today of people who lost family members. But I promise you, it is a rare day that I do not get an email that says so-and-so's daughter overdosed, so-and-so's son overdosed, or whatever the relation is. Hey, Angie, good to see you. Have a lovely evening, Lady Crispin. Take care of yourself, huh? Please. Thanks for all of the effort. Tommy Bird says, I got issues. You got them too. No question. No question. Wow. Oh, yeah. Okay, so bit of a so the update for the interview that I did with Matt Cox. Matt's a great guy. I was absolutely blown away at how cool he was. If you've never done anything like this, if you've never screwed around on podcasts or streaming or doing anything like this, very often, if you're going on a channel and the channel is considerably larger than you, there's not a lot of hanging out and shooting the breeze, right? Like, I get there about 3 minutes before we go live, and he says, I'm going to ask you the first question and pretty much go from there. All right. And I say, okay. And we just let it roll. So you never know the person that you're talking to often until halfway through the interview, where you get an opportunity to kind of get a feel off of who the guy is. Very, very intelligent dude. He did 13 years in the feds for uh, basically for a whole host of different kinds of fraud, but he was very good with computers and things of that nature. And yeah, it was a very interesting interview. For those of you who like true crime, you're probably really going to dig this. There's, you know, I definitely delve into, some of the, some of the darker, crime stuff from my past. Some of the stuff that I don't talk about here often is what I talked about there. The Matt Cox interview, CK, will be up in about 1 week. We will be told the night before it goes up because of how long it did not go live. We recorded this. Basically, what he said was, I knew so little about you. I didn't know if you were going to be adult. I didn't know if, he said often, and he's right. Oftentimes when you go to start trying to do an interview, you get someone and they may have a very interesting story and have absolutely no ability to tell it. Or they can be fantastic. I've told the story before, but I had a guy on, I did an interview once. And before we went on, I said, I don't prep because I want to hear the answers for the first time, just like everyone else. I said, but I'm going to ask you, how old the first time you were when you got high, and, questions like that. And he answers, he says to me, well, I was about 13. A friend of mine lived down the street, and he starts telling me the story. There's a ton of detail. And like, I'm watching it in my head. I can see this kid getting high for the first time. Like I literally can picture what he's wearing. And I'm thinking to myself, this is going to be an excellent interview. And I get the guy on and I say, we hit record. And I said, how old were you the first time you started doing dope? Do you remember? And he goes, 13. I'm waiting. And I'm like, holy hell. Right. All right. Maybe he's a little skittish. So I said, all right, no problem. 13. What was what drug did you start with? Was it booze or what? A lot of people, what was your entrance into the drug game? Weed. I swear to you, people. And I got Mark Wages texting me. I got Lady Fiona Kristen texting me. I got all of these people like spitting out suggestions. Ask this question, maybe ask that question. So he didn't know what I was going to be like. He knew nothing about me when I got there. I mean, nothing. This was set up by, the funny thing was I got there and he said, apparently we have the same agent. And I said, I wasn't aware I had an agent. So, but I guess his agent, knew Aaron, and Aaron was nice enough to pass on my info to Matt's agent. And that's how the whole thing got set up. But he had no idea who I was. And was basically, flying blind. So we recorded it, but it is a good long one. I miss him too. I talked to him just the other day. He's doing fantastic. He really is. He's a little bit too busy with family to get over here as much as he'd like to. He really wanted to do a 1 a week thing, but it hasn't happened yet. I'm not going to do any Fifi talks here. I didn't realize that Larry Lawton had broken down the finer points of the Fifi. Horrible. Maybe Night Yard. We can. I just so that people aren't completely in the lost. There are how you can buy people buy sex dolls. Well, inside prison, men have been known to try to make things like that. And they're normally referred to as a fifi. Steven says, I unsubscribed to Larry Lawton. Well, I'm sure Larry would be sorry to hear that. You know what? Everybody's got kind of a different spin. You know what I mean? And you do enough time. And I think it's a lot like if you hear some of the Scientologists, they curse like no one you've ever met, like every other word. And it's just very much a part of the culture. And when you're in prison, every other word is an F-bomb. Every other word is an F-bomb. And it never stops. So Larry curses a lot, and I know that, for some people that's tough. I'll be honest. I'm not horrendously offended by cursing. I feel really weird, and this is going to sound stupid as hell. I feel weird cursing in front of women. I don't know. Maybe it's a my dad thing, but and I'm always blown away by guys who do it. But so I'm not much on the cursing thing. I kind of do too rough around the edges for you, says Steven. Yeah, I'd like to. I really don't want to be the person that I was. I hope that in the interview that you guys see that I did with him, I hope that comes across. I hope that it isn't edited out. You know what I mean? Because I made a point of saying, I can talk about the crimes that I did from my past, but I don't think I groove to it the way other people do. Maybe it's because of the fact that there was so much lying involved. Like, even if I think about the crime itself and it's funny, and I could think about me and Jack, and some of the things that we did, and there's some pretty funny stuff. We told some of the stories here before, but at the same time, there's a wife somewhere that I'm lying to, and and there's a kid somewhere that I should be taking care of, and there's all of these. It's just, I don't enjoy it. I really don't. I don't have a problem talking about my past. It's mine and I own it. But they're not the good old days. And I think that's kind of yeah. Lady J says, can't stand trying to watch something where 80% of the dialogue is bleeped out. You know what? If it's one of those situations where people are going to curse constantly, they should either allow the stuff to go on, right? Or yeah, because you're right. I cannot watch edited. Bleeps drive me nuts. Even if they're every 4 minutes, I really have a struggle with that. Angie, I'm sorry to hear that, hon. Angie says she lost her job unexpectedly last week. That is, as far as stressors go, that's high on the food chain. It really is. It is a difficult. I'm sorry, Stephen. That's funny as hell. It really is just funny as hell. Losing a job is very difficult. It's moving, a change in relationship, and change in job. But I don't want to be Tony Robbins, and I don't want to sit here and do rah stuff, and because it's annoying. But the truth of the matter is, I swear to God, and it's just been recently that I look at life differently than I did. Right? I was the most fatalistic person in the entire world. And if I lost a job, it was F my life. I'm not going to be able to pay the bills. I suck. No wonder I got fired. You know what I mean? I'm a drug addict, and the automatic negative thoughts would just start running wild. And you know what? I'm a convict. I'm never going to be able to get a good job. Why should I be surprised? They probably found out about my record, blah, blah, blah. And then I kind of had a different view when I got out this time. And every time a door slammed, it was because another one opened. For the people that have been on a boat for a really long time, I signed up to go get my master's degree. That was the goal. Like, I was going to attend a university and get my master's and do the drug thing with some letters after my name. And I signed up for the courses and shared it with the boat and got all excited about it. And then at the very last moment, they did the, oh, by the way, we're not going to allow you to go to this school because of your criminal record. And the amazing thing was that I got on the phone with the counselors and said, so I just got out of prison. Right? I told them everything about me, and they let me go through this entire process. And, the Board of Regents said, we're not letting this person on the campus. He's not a good person. And I was told you can take a year, and then you can come back and you can apply. Right. As opposed to that happening, I started my own business, and things have gone really well with that. With the business, I was able to support myself and work for myself. And I think you got to look at everything that happens and try to, at a minimum, right? It's hard. It's super hard. But if we're able to detach some of the emotion from what you're feeling, and if you can start trying to use that logic front part of your dome. I think this is why journaling is so fantastic. Alan Ballantyne, how are you, brother? Good to see you. That's why it's so important to journal. You understand, people? If I sit here and I have thoughts, right, and I'm just sitting here quietly and I'm doing my thought thing, when I pick up a pen, right, and I want to get that thought from here down onto this page, an entirely different set of things happen in my brain. If you were to ever watch it on a brain scan, it lights up completely differently, right? We are now engaging all kinds of brain pan to make this happen. And when my brain is working like that, I tend to be far more philosophical, and I tend to be far more, I'm less emotional. If I can detach the emotions from the situation, then I make much more logical decisions. It was a lot of fun. Lady Crispin was a purchasing agent for that business and was fantastic at it. It really worked hard. In my country, no university can deny a student based on criminal record. That is insane to me. If I could tell you all of the things that I can't do because I'm a convicted felon, it is a very, very long list. Now, truth be told, I'm structuring my life in such a way that it is not affecting me much. I certainly cannot own a firearm. I can vote. My voting rights have been reestablished, so I can vote. I could not be a doctor. I could not be a lawyer. There are certain states I could be an attorney, but there are very few. There's just a lot of jobs. There are places I can't live. Right? There are places that just will not allow a convicted felon to live in the building, like a co-op or a condominium. There are places that I don't care how much money I made. I don't care how famous I got. I could become the most famous YouTuber in the entire world, and I'm not moving into any Park Avenue addresses in New York. I promise you, they're gonna go, oh, not so fast. But you know what? I did the crime. I think that they could treat inmates better, but I did the crime. Yeah. Well, prison's the only reason that I'm alive too. Absolutely the only reason that I'm alive is prison. Okay, people. I'm going to cut this one off because I am doing a 5 o'clock show. And after the 5 o'clock show, right? So it's 6 o'clock tonight, I will be on with Russ, the California convict. And Russ and I will be doing Night Yard. If you missed last night's Lifeboat where I talked about this, every summer in prison, they do something called Night Yard. Because of the change in the amount of daylight, they allow the inmates to spend a little bit more time outdoors. And oftentimes, love you too, Alan, oftentimes it's up to about 9 o'clock at night. So you get to see stars, and it's a big deal for the inmates. And we had been trying to come up with a name, Felon Friday or something like that. And we decided we were going to go with Night Yard. And it's always going to be one of those things that's on after the boat. But the first Night Yard is going to be tonight. Tomorrow night, I have an interview that I am going to be doing. This interview is going to... I am so looking forward to this interview, and I am so dreading this interview. And if you sit in this chair, that's usually a really good sign. It usually means that it's going to be something that is life-changing, really life-changing, and really, really powerful. And this is going to be a good one. So Misha will be I will be interviewing Misha tomorrow night, and don't miss it. Please do not miss tomorrow, right? If you're going to miss any this week, don't miss tomorrow nights. Ian, well, are they rehabilitated or are they not? I don't know. I see your point, because there will always be somebody, but lack of a chance or hope can also be a reason for people to reoffend, in my opinion. You know what? I could spend the next 2 weeks talking about this, because I have spent so much time. Q and I used to sit and debate this for hours. We would try to design the perfect system in our heads, right? What would the perfect prison system look like? Like, how would it work? And it would encourage people to do the right thing, so that if somebody got in and got a job, it would actually reward people. As it works now, if you go into prison and you do exactly what you're supposed to and follow all the rules, you're going to live crappier than anybody else there. You might not make it, right? Because you're going to have to eat. You can survive on their food, but barely. I mean, barely. So you're going to need some money, which means coming up with a job of some kind, which is going to pay almost nothing. You're going to work 40 hours a week and you're going to get $19 a month, right? Or you start breaking the rules. So what's the first thing you learn when you get to prison? You look around and you're like, that dude is dressed in high top shoes. He's wearing nothing that looks like federal stuff. He's got an MP3 player with 4,000 songs on it. He's never once gone to the chow hall. He does not eat that garbage food. He eats whatever he wants. What the hell is this guy's deal? And they're like, well, that's the local dope dealer, right? That guy doesn't go to the chow hall either. What's he? Well, he's a bookie, right? He runs the sports book, so you can place bets with him on football games, baseball games, whatever, right? So what you learn is exactly what they should not be reinforcing. That if you go and you play by the rules, you're going to get your ass kicked, and you're not going to make it. You're barely going to survive. So what you have to do is you have to create your own program. And I'm not smart enough, so don't give me a lot of credit. I didn't create mine. I followed somebody else's. But it was a good program, and thank God that I met Q, and I did, or I definitely wouldn't be where I am now, obviously. So I hope everybody shows up too. Misha, I'm going to make a big deal about it. I promise you, I am going to promote the ever loving hell out of it. I will say this now, and I will probably say it again tomorrow night. But when we met and became friends, it was at a very, very dark time in her life, and we met on a different channel, and it was a very unique opportunity. I'll let her tell the story how we met, but I've known this story now for a really long time, and there are stories that you can't tell. You have to sit and literally gird up and get prepared, and it takes a long time for people to be ready to step up to the plate. And I'll be honest, I was blown away when she reached out and said, you know what, let's do this. I'm ready. This has to get out, and don't miss it. Don't miss it. It is 5 p.m. Pacific, always and forever for the rest of time. 5 a.m. and 5 p.m. Pacific time, right? The lifeboat will pop up. 5 a.m. and 5 p.m., right? Every day. That's going to be lifeboat stuff. You can count on it, right? However, the rest of it, it's going to be hit or miss. So just hit the bell for notification and make sure you hit all, right? And you'll hopefully you'll know every time we go live. The Peace Lady says, you scare me with your prison stories. I pray I'm never there. You're never going to be there. I promise you, Peace Lady, you're never going to be there. It's it's a very rare thing to end up in prison by accident, right? You really got to screw up it. Zelda Z, 5 p.m. tomorrow night, right here. Same squirrel time, same squirrel channel, right? 5 p.m. right here tomorrow. But every day, people, live on the 5s, right? If it's 5 a.m. or it's 5 p.m. in California, I'm live. Got it? Every morning, every night. And if not, something bad happened to me, right? I got a doctor's appointment, or, something happened with my health or whatever. But Ian says, I don't understand how you can do this 7 days a week. I know you have guest hosts as well, of course. Ian, I am I mean, if you think about it, right? The average guy goes to work and puts 40 hours in a week. I do 2 hours a day here, right? That's 14 hours a week. Let's say I pick up about 6 other shows, right? That's 20 hours a week. That's still half of what the average person works. Now, to be honest, I spend an awful lot of time talking to addicts when I'm not live, but this has become a mission in my life. And I have a new counselor that I'm working with. And this counselor, I've been working with counselors forever. And if you do it, if you work in recovery at all, even voluntary, then you probably should be talking to a therapist. And I have a very difficult time finding a therapist that I like. I really struggle with it. And I found one right now that I think might be the best that I've ever had. So if it continues to go good, I think that's also helping me a lot. But thank you. I appreciate you the concern, but this is definitely what I'm doing. She's going to cry. You're going to cry. I'm going to cry. Everybody bring tissues, right? And here's the thing. If you're one of those people that thinks that, guys don't cry or whatever, man, honestly, it's 23. That's some Cro-Magnon crap. I cry a lot. I'm an emotional guy, and I don't know. It's what it is, right? Maybe it's because I'm Italian. I can't even catch half of your shows. Well, I'm glad you're catching some of them, man. I really am. So I love it when you're here. Yeah, there's something to that, man. I might even leave that one up there. All right, everybody. I am Captain Tommy, and I'm going to see you at 5:00 tonight. I will be bringing a date. In theory, I'll be bringing a date. All right. Squirrel Nut Zipper should be here. All right, everyone. Love you. See you on the next one. Bye-bye.